Zandalari Trolls and Kul Tiran Humans. Possibly the most annoying allied races to unlock for returning players due to some possible confusion surrounding some of the required quest chains and achievements. Furthermore, both races are only unlocked after you've basically done most of the BFA questing content, so better buckle up. Kul Tirans and Zandalari were introduced in BFA along with all the other new allied races and played a key role in the storyline of the expansion. As such, it makes sense that the two races should be locked behind the BFA storyline and, up until recently, reputation with the BFA factions. Getting the achievements to unlock the two races has become significantly easier after the release of Shadowlands, however, as this guide will clarify. For this entire guide series, I will go over how to unlock each of the allied races in Shadowlands 9.1 in as simple and easy a manner as possible. We've already discussed Lightforged Draenei, Void Elves, High Mountain Tauren and the Nightborn. So from a storyline perspective, it chronologically makes sense to now take a look at Kul Tirans and Zandalari Trolls. So let's get right into it. Note that through unlocking both Kul Tirans and the Zandalari Trolls, you'll get the achievement 2 sides to every tail as well, which will give you the mounts the Bloodflank Charger and the Ironclad Frost Claw. These mounts are unique, since the typical Horde mount, a wolf, will be given to Alliance players, and the typical Alliance mount, a Charger, will be given to Horde players. So that's a bit of a bonus if you feel like unlocking both allied races. You will notice in this guide that for unlocking both Zandalari Trolls and Kul Tirans, you need the achievement Tides of Vengeance, but the achievement differs on the two factions, meaning you'll have to do the same achievement on both sides. It is not shared. The Zandalari are said to be some of the most superstitious subspecies of trolls, known for their worship of the Loa and for their formidable naval fleet. We first encounter the race when unrest in King Rastakhan's council and enemy attacks on Zandalar's borders forced the Zandalari to request the aid of the Horde in battle for Azeroth. To unlock the Zandalari Trolls as a playable race, you must complete 3 achievements. Tides of Vengeance, which will be granted to you once you finish the war campaign components from 8.0 and 8.1. Zandalar Forever, which requires you to complete all major lore storylines in the Zandalar zones, Zuldazar, Nazmir and Vol'jin, ending with the completion of the quest The Final Seal. And unlock the allied races Zandalari Trolls by completing the questline starting from a royal occasion. If you have never ventured into the Zandalar zone before, never done any BFA content, everything will begin with the quest Battle for Azeroth Hour of Reckoning, which you pick up from High Overlord Saurfang inside Grommash Hold. You can also simply take the boat from the harbour in Orgrimmar to Zuldazar and the quest chain should start. The easiest way to do this is at max level or through Chromie time by choosing the Cataclysm storyline. The Tides of Vengeance overall sends you on 4 quest chains. The Day is Won, Through the Front Door, Megatork's Battle Plans, and Fly Out to meet them. However, you cannot simply pick up the Day is Won from the get-go upon beginning your questing in Zandalar for the first time. There's 2 minor requirements. The achievement Ready for War, which you'll get once you finish the entire war campaign, and getting the Heart of Azeroth through the Heart of Azeroth achievement. You quite simply won't be able to find the quest The Day is Won before you fulfill the 2 above mentioned requirements. They're both quite simple, however. The war campaign can easily be picked up from the Thanos Blightcaller at the Banshee's Whale in the Zuldazar port. And for the Heart of Azeroth, you pick up the quest A Dying World from Earthen Guardian, who's hanging out outside the Great Seal. From here, it should be enough to progress through the storyline up until the point where Magni gives you the Heart of Azeroth. With that out of the way, you can continue Ready for War, and upon finishing, you can pick up the quest The Day is Won, which will take you through the 4 quest chains and eventually give you the Tides of Vengeance achievement. So, overall, get the Ready for War achievement, obtain the Heart of Azeroth, and pick up The Day is Won and continue along the questline until you complete it all with the achievement Tides of Vengeance. As for the Zandalar Forever achievement, this is a lot more straightforward. Simply follow the questline presented to you upon arrival in Zandalar and complete the main storyline of the continent. which will take you through Zul'Dazar, Nazmir and Muldoon, depending on the zone you choose to aid first and last. Along the way, you'll get the minor achievements, the Throne of Zul'Dazar, Secrets in the Sands, the Dark Heart of Nazmir, a Bargain of Blood, and the Final Seal. And please note, you have to do all these minor achievements on the same character. You cannot split them between alts. On the positive side, however, along the way of completing Zandalar Forever, you will complete Loremaster of Zandalar, which is account-wide, even across factions. Meaning you will automatically also get the Loremaster of Kul Tiran and vice versa. So you don't need to complete all 3 zones on each faction continent for both achievements. Once you've completed the 2 achievements, Tides of Vengeance and Zandalar Forever, you'll be able to pick up the quest A Royal Occasion from Rakan in Orgrimmar. Following this, you'll be sent on a short quest line which includes 14 quests and ends with the crowning of Talanji as Queen of the Zandalari and the Zandalari joining the Horde with Legions of the Zandalari. Once you complete the final quest, you'll get the achievement Allied Races, Zandalari Trolls, along with the tablet of the Zandalari and the Zandalari Direhorn brought all the way from Zul'Dazar probably. Congratulations. Now, onto the Alliance side of things. Kul Tiran Humans hail from the island nation of Kul Tiran and are known for their legendary fleet and the influence of their tide sages to control water and weather. Like the Zandalari Trolls, there are 3 achievements you must unlock before you can create your own Kul Tiran character in World of Warcraft. And one of the achievements has the same name as the Zandalari Trolls unlocking achievement. However, they are not shared since the quests required for the achievements are different. It is, after all, 2 sides to the same tale. Tides of Vengeance, which will be granted to you once you finish the war campaign components from 8.0 and 8.1. And Nation United, which requires you to complete all major storylines in the Kul Tiran zones Tiragard Sound, Drustvar and Stormsong Valley. And unlock the Allied Races Kul Tiran, which you begin with the quest Made in Kul Tiran, which you pick up from Cyrus and Stormwind. For those of you who have never touched BFA content and never been to Kul Tiran, the easiest way to get there is to either go at max level or through Chromie time by choosing the Cataclysm storyline. Upon doing so, you can pick up the quest Battle for Azeroth Hour of Reckoning from Matthias Shore in Stormwind Harbor. You can also simply take the boat from the harbor to Borellis and the quest chain should start. The Tides of Vengeance achievement consists of 4 quest lines: War Marches On, The Sleeper Agent, Mischief Managed, and He Who Walks in the Light. Just like the Horde equivalent, before you can even pick up the first quest, War Marches On, you must first complete Ready for War, which is the war campaign on the Kul Tiran side and gives you footholds all around the Zandalari zones. The criteria for completing Ready for War are Nazmir Foothold, Zul'Dazar Foothold, Muldoon Foothold, Blood on the Sand, Chasing Darkness, A Golden Opportunity, Blood in the Water, and a strike on Zul'Dazar. You begin your war campaign in Kul Tiran by talking to Halford Wormbane on the Wind's Redemption in Borellis Harbor right after you've been shown around by Talia and introduced to Cyrus. To begin Tides of Vengeance, you must also obtain the Heart of Azeroth from Magni, which you do with the achievement The Heart of Azeroth. You begin this quest by picking up a dying world from Earthen Guardian, who's standing right next to the inn in Borellis Harbor. From there, it should be enough to progress through the storyline up until the point where Magni gives you the Heart of Azeroth. You should not need to progress any further on that particular quest line to unlock Kul Tiran. With these 2 accomplishments out of the way, you can pick up the quest War Marches On from Halford Wormbane, which will take you through the 4 quest chains and eventually give you the Tides of Vengeance achievement. So to summarize, get the Ready for War achievement, obtain the Heart of Azeroth, and pick up War Marches On and continue along the questline until you complete it all with the achievement Tides of Vengeance. Easy peasy, right? Now, for the Nation United, you must complete the 3 minor achievements. Loremaster of Kul Tiran, which you obtain once you complete the storylines in all 3 Kul Tiran zones, Tiragard Sound, Drustvar and Stormsong Valley. Note, that this achievement is account-wide, so if you've completed Loremaster of Zandalar, you'll automatically also get the Loremaster of Kul Tiran and vice versa. So you don't need to complete all 3 zones on each continent for both achievements. The Pride of Kul Tiran, which is a quest line surrounding Jaina and her story. You can pick up the first quest, What You May Regret, from Gen Greymane at the Memorial by Proudmoore Keep once Loremaster of Kul Tiran, or the Horde equivalent Zandalar Forever, is completed. And finally, the A Nation United, which you can pick up from Gen Greymane in the Harbour Master's office in Borellis, only after you've completed the quest Siege of Borellis, Lady Ashvane's Return, which Catherine Proudmoore will give you. And yes, that is a dungeon quest. Once you've completed A Nation United, you're just one step away from unlocking the Kul Tiran Humans. And should you complete Tides of Vengeance on both the Horde and the Alliance side, as well as A Nation United and Zandalar Forever, you'll also get the achievement 2 sides to every tale and 2 nice mounts, 1 for each faction. The final step in unlocking Kul Tiran Humans is to recruit them to the Alliance, now that we're all friends. To do this, you pick up the quest Made in Kul Tiran from Cyrus in Borellis Harbour. You will then complete 20 quests, which ends with you and Jaina Proudmoore presenting Anduin with the gift of a ship in Stormwind. With the final quest, Allegiance of the Kul Tiran completed, you'll get the achievement Allied Races Kul Tiran, along with the tabard of Kul Tiran and the Kul Tiran Charger. Yay! You're done. Never again. As a final note, because everything is connected in the achievements Tides of Vengeance and Ready for War, and you cannot share minor achievements between ults, I greatly recommend you don't do one major achievement on your main and the second one on your ult. Everything is much easier if done on the same character. For this reason, I greatly recommend you do it all on your main, a character you've already done the BFA questline on, or make an ult to level through the Kul Tiran or Zandalar zones, depending on which race you're trying to unlock, to obtain the achievements more naturally as you level. Also, remember that since Shadowlands, reputation is no longer a requirement to unlock the allied races, so you can rest easy on this part. There we go! That covers Zandalari Trolls and Kul Tiran Humans. The questlines and achievements to unlock these races are honestly a lot more puzzling and non-linear than it might seem, so I hope this guide was easy and simple enough to follow. I tried my very best sorting through the various information and tips across Wowhead to include everything. I wish you the best of luck if you haven't unlocked the 2 races yet. In the end, it will be worth it for the awesome new models if you ask me. In the next video, I will cover the Makau Orcs and the Dark Iron Dwarfs, some of my favorite races, though I've actually not unlocked the Orcs yet. As always, feel free to leave comments and questions anytime in the section below. I stream on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday if you feel like stopping by for a chat or have some questions. My schedule is in the description below and on the screen. Till then, thank you so much for watching and take care.